the arrival of the autumn season. And I found a prayer, courtesy of Marquette University, which I really like. It's called the Autumn Prayer. So let us pray. God of all seasons, we thank you for autumn. We thank you for the touch of coolness in the air that gives us a new burst of energy, for the coloring of trees that shows the creativity of the divine artist, for the falling leaves that reveal the strength of the branches, for the hues of fields that bring peace to our souls, for the smiles on pumpkins that bring joy to children, for the fall harvest that brings us gratitude for the bounty of our land, for this change of seasons that reveals the circle of life. God of all seasons, as you transform the earth, transform us by your Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Comment?
Okay, if you would join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As you're aware, our club is turning 35 in May, and we have a team that's is starting the planning for that. So they're going to give us a quick update, and I think they're going to ask for your input as well. So this is the team exercise. Claudia, Holly?
I don't need that.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Next May, our club turns 35 years old, which in terms of Rotary is not a record breaker, but in terms of us is. So we decided we're going to celebrate. And so Hallie and I are heading up the committee for learning more about Dublin AM's history and then planning a celebration. One of the things that we're doing is putting together various subcommittees. So for instance, we have one on the June installation collaboration with Dan Schwegman and the installation planning. We're going to have the actual big celebration that day because it's a great party, and so why not just add one more thing in to drink to. So we'll need some committee members for that. Communication and PR, we're doing internal and external. We've already pitched to Dublin Life magazine a story idea, and we'll be working more on that, but we're also going to do some more external information to many of our partners. So some of the people that we've been working with, the organizations, the City of Dublin certainly. So we need some help with that. We're doing we're trying a new thing called, we don't know what it's called. So we
You're going to name it.
Naming. It's going to be kind of like a deck of cards, and there are going to be 35 moments of giving in there. And so we'll be giving those to each of us, and then also to external partners. And each card is going to have something that you or your family can do that week in a small amount of time to give back to the community. So we need some ideas on that. We need inspiration for what to include in those cards. And we need a name for it because, 35 moments of giving isn't really too inspirational. Global activities, we're doing an impact study. Luckily, Maddie Andrews and Ingrid are working on that, but they could use some help too. Our bookkeeper has great records of what we've done in those 35 years, who we've given money to. Most of us can remember what we've done in the last 20 minutes, but not everybody can remember what we did 35 years ago. We do have a few founding members still in our club, so that's exciting. And they'll have some great memories. And then club history, and I think that's really going to be with some of our long-term members who have memories from 35 years ago, 1989. So we're going to pass this around, and we hope that you sign up to work on one or more of the committees. If there is not a blank in the one you want to work on, just add your name to it. It's okay. And it's 2 pages of sign-ups.
The only thing I'd add to that is you'll notice on the sheet there's a couple of section leads. So for each subcommittee, if that's something that you wouldn't mind taking the lead on, so you could be the person that we reach out to see how your subcommittee's doing, that would be great. We need some leaders within that group as well. You're all leaders at heart, but leaders on paper.
And one other little thing is that we're doing this well in advance. We're really gonna kick this off with branding and all kinds of things in March of 2025 with the accent celebration in June of 2025 and then continue through. So we know that it's a lot of work, so we're giving ourselves 3, 4 months, 5 months to get this all together so we can make a big impact with it.
Yeah. So Claudia mentioned we're gonna do a little group activity. I was gonna bring a speaker and music so we could just have our little like Jeopardy moment, but I didn't. So you'll have to sing to yourself. So we're gonna spend like 5 minutes-ish. Is that good? Okay. Can you help me pass these out? So there's little slips of paper. If you need a pen or pencil, I brought some. They might be children's pencils, but that's okay. And we're asking you to think creatively about a name for this deck of cards. So Claudia suggested like 35 moments of service, or maybe you can come up with something even more creative. And then also to think of 1 to 2 acts of service that could be completed in an hour or a day. If you need more papers, let me know.
Pencils are needed, I think, on this
Okay,
table.
pencils are done. I got pencils. Or if you've got, oh, yeah. Pens in your purse, pens in your pocket. You ready first today? We might need to gather some from.
Question, is these 35, the cards are just for Rotary Club use only, or is it?
No, we've thought about other ways that we could distribute them throughout the community.
You know, we have to keep it clean. Your ideas are good. Your suggestions are good. This is a family organization.
You guys can share. See, music would have been lovely. I passed out the pens I had, so I have to share. Sorry, you'd think I'd have a stash of 50 pens at home, but. Like big, like multiple markers, multiple crayons, I emptied out my pen drawer, but I just wrote that way. And here we are, this is what I'm doing.
Oh, no, that's what you're starting with. Oh, certainly.
Yes.
If you don't have an idea that you want to write now, you can certainly email that. In fact, I'll send an email to everybody asking you to thoughtfully complete this assignment, because we don't want to take time away from our speakers. But I will say our speakers are filling out the form. Not to make them the stars or anything, but they understand assignments and completing them.
Thank you.
It wasn't the catchiest name, but, you know.
That's okay, it helps to have some brainstorming. You didn't have to put your name on it, so, you know, if you're proud of what you came up with, you can put your name on it, or you cannot. And if you're done and you had a pen you can pass, that would be great.
And we can collect these at the end, after the meeting. So, we can keep thoughtfully working on them. Do we have anything else, Sally?
No, ma'am.
Take it away, Jean.
Okay. So, your schoolwork is over for the day for some of us, and now it's time for recess. So does anyone have any announcements? Well,
Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. Just wanted to thank everybody for bringing all the items of food and various, toothbrushes and things like that that the food pantry needs. This is part of our Celebrate Community Week, which is where we partner with a Lions Club. Both the Dublin Lions and the Worthington Lions are also partnering. Obviously, the Dublin side is trying to benefit Dublin Scioto food collection, and the Worthington side is for Worthington Kilbourne. The collections will be announced at the halftime of the game tonight. I'm going to that. If any of you would like to go, it's at Worthington Kilbourne at 7 o'clock. And at halftime, they'll announce the winner of our food contest collection. So thanks again for your support. Come along if you want to. We'll get some pictures with the Lions Club and show that we're partnering with our community members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and next week is collection for towels and blankets for Canine Companions. So Canine Collective, right. So anyhow, David is organizing that, so give him your blankets. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Barb?
Jean just wanted me to announce about, speaking of Dublin Food Pantry, Bounty on Bridge Park was on last Sunday, just a few short days ago. So thank you all for coming, those that came. Thank you to Rotary for doing 2 full tables of people. So I hope those of you that came had a good time. It was just a joyous evening with 365 or so people. So it was lovely weather. We were outside in the cocktail area and inside in the cocktail area and then inside in the dining room at the Exchange. So we booked it for next year, September 14th, Sunday, September 14th next year. Put it on your calendars. Same place, different menu probably, but the menu was great, I thought. So thank you, and just so you know, we raised right around $80,000 clear profit before Bounty Night, with table purchases, sponsorships, donations, individual ticket purchases. Bounty Night, we had a QR code, we had a way to give, we had a thermometer to gauge our progress, and we raised $22,000 just that night with raffle ticket sales and with just QR code donations. So our profit, total profit, whatever you call that, total profit, is over $100,000, which will serve like 4 months of operations, food purchases, all of the stuff we need at the food pantry. So thank you so very much. We appreciate you.
And thank you, Barb. The video, if we could send out a link to that, I think people might enjoy watching that.
I can do
I thought I knew the Dublin Food Pantry, but there was so much new information in there. And I think many of you met Jim Wilson when he was here. Jim's role in that and everything he does to support the food pantry is really quite amazing. So, thank you again. Any other announcements? Well, then please welcome our Sergeant, Susan.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I cannot believe it's the 20th of September. Where is this month gone? It's crazy, crazy. So I'm going to start today with our 2 guests, which are actually our speakers. So I'm going to let you actually be introduced when we do the introduction for the Dublin City Schools, or coffee, whatever. So, but welcome here, and we really love having you here. You can come back anytime you'd like. We're getting a lot more new members, so you can come and be a part of that as well. Are there any Happy Bucks today? Yes.
Yeah, I have a wishing buck. OU plays Kentucky this weekend, and I know, as you know, Kentucky almost beat Georgia, so I'm wishing we beat the spread.
So what does that mean exactly?
It means that they lose by less points than they're supposed to lose by.
Did you do a bet with your bookie? Okay. Okay. Next, Happy Buck.
This Happy Buck is for Lane. He ran a 5, sorry, I'm like so proud of him. He ran a 5K last week with me. We did the John Glenn Runway 5K. And I did great, but Lane did better. He finished 5th in the 19 and under category.
Wow.
5K in 24 minutes and 15 seconds with an 8:05 pace.
Whoa.
Crushed his mother, and he was only beat by a 13-year-old, two 15-year-olds, and a 17-year-old.
Wow. You go, Lynn. That's remarkable. Congratulations. Anybody else? Okay, Ms. Ingrid.
I would say that I'd like to do a happy buck, except I'm gonna have to borrow the dollar. I am totally out of cash. We had the fabulous wedding, we had the great rehearsal dinner that, of course, Bob and I got to sponsor or host, and just thank you guys for putting up with me through all the wedding planning. It's been fabulous. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
Scott knows where you live.
Two and Rose are married.
All right, congratulations. It's always nice to get married off. Anybody else? Well, I think we have a little bit of a story to share today. It's not a happy buck. Well, it actually is a happy buck. But I think it taught us all a lesson. And I think that, are you serious?
Are you doing this?
I am. You can come up here. Do you want to tell the story? Okay.
I was going to do a happy buck, but I also didn't have a dollar. So the happy buck is that I was struck by an SUV on my bike on Wednesday, but I'm here to tell you about it. The lesson learned is I did not hit my head. I'm fine. The lesson learned is I will not be riding my bike anymore without a helmet, because even if you're just riding around the block on the Dublin paths, you never know what could happen. So I learned a lesson, and I'm also very, very fortunate.
We are so happy you're still here. We were all together last night out here on the patio, and so Mike's telling us this. So we get home last night, and John needs an ice machine, so he puts that in my car, and he also puts in his helmet for Mike. And I thought about this driving, and I'm like, I'm not going to carry this helmet in, because it's not even a bike helmet, it's a motorcycle helmet. But it's a total protective cover.
Whatever works.
And it would work.
I have a helmet.
I know you have a helmet. But anyway, I think it's really important for us to remember that, because it's just a blink of an eye when something unbeknownst to us can happen. And thank God that nothing happened, and he's not even like a few scrapes and bruises, but he's here with us, and we're so happy that that's here. Paige.
Susan, if I can add a cute sidebar story, I'm trying to teach my grandson, who's soon to turn 19, driving, and he has very little interest. But as I'm telling Mom, my mother's 103, and every time I tell her that I'm taking Bo out for driving, she asks me, "Now, are you wearing a football helmet?"
I love it. Well, I think that we're just going to do one fine. If in fact you have had a great month in the month of September, throw in $1. If you have had a horrible month in the month of September, you put in $2. All right, today our small pot is $22. And our large pot's $122. So I'm gonna mix all these up. So we do these raffles every week, and we do gamble. So if you don't play, you can't win, just like the lottery. So I'm gonna let you pick the first ticket.
Okay, it's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Go to the number?
Yep.
9972521.
Okay, small pot or large pot?
Take the large pot.
Okay, so that's 122, and I'll get to you when we're done. Small pot, absolutely.
You want to spread the love?
I'm going to spread the love, yeah, of course. All right, this is for the small pot of $22.
Okay, 9972582.
Jim Van Deen. Okay, he's got it. All good. All right, everyone have a great much.
Thank you, Susan. Mike, if you'll come forward. I've seen Mike riding his bike, and when I've seen him riding, I've always thought he looks so comfortable and moves with such grace. I'm sorry that you had an accident, but I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you. Okay, I am very, very pleased to introduce you all to Erin Canaday. Erin is the Transition Coordinator and Special Education Department Chair for the Dublin City Schools. She's been there for over 23 years. Her role as the Transition Coordinator is to assist students with disabilities with making the transition to adulthood, primarily through coordinating services and activities in the areas of post-secondary education, employment, and independent living. She facilitates internship and job shadow opportunities in the community and works with families and service providers to create individualized plans to meet the needs of the students. She serves on multiple school teams that work together to provide experiences to the students to best prepare them for life after graduation. She earned her bachelor's in special education from Eastern Illinois University and her master's in education from Mary Grove College. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you. Well, the initial part of that was some things I was going to talk about today. So we took care of that piece, Mike. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am here today to talk about what I love so much, and that is transition services. There is a piece of the transition services that I do that I'm actually more excited to come and talk to you about today. But as Mike said, I will not read this to you, but that is what I do as a transition coordinator for Dublin City Schools, specifically Dublin Coffman High School. So these are, again, some of the services that I provide students and families for that post-secondary outcome transition. But today, I'm here to talk to you about school and community-based internships, specifically what we call our in-school workstation. And I have to say that I have to introduce two people that hit the ground running with me on the new project that we had a couple years ago. And that is Assistant Principal Jen Clark and Leah Perrell, who really got in the trenches with me of this project. And I just thank you so much for helping me as we've grown. So we have had at Coffman for the last 20 years a student-run copy center, and is really a place where students can go for us to assess skills. And that way we can see to make better decisions for more planning and training for them. As time has gone on, and it is a office-type task kind of job site, we really felt like we needed to expand. And so an opportunity arose, and in that opportunity, we had a space at Coffman. We had a business teacher retire, and our a lot of our business went to the academies at Emerald Campus, so we had a space. And that space, really, it was because of the teacher that was retiring. She said, Erin, I would love for your kiddos to take over. We have a school store. We have supplies that need sold. And so I said, you know what, Patty, this is a great idea. But I really would love to expand it just to provide more skills for students. And so the idea came, actually, Matt Perrell, principal, he had said to me, well, why don't we write a grant looking at a cafe? And so through some grant writing, we wrote a grant for a cafe, which included not only a coffee shop, but then to expand into some snacks. So again, we could provide more jobs for students. And so in doing that, we realized we needed this coffee machine that was an $8,000 expense. And so through grant writing and the gracious community that we were giving grants, two large ones. One was through Rotary, so thank you, and the other through Dublin Education Foundation. So I came here a couple years ago, and I even called Mike, and I said, I am on the calendar, and we have a shell. Like, we have this coffee we have this coffee machine, but we're not ready. And he said, you know what, just come on, talk about where you are in the process of it. And so the last time I came, the pictures were a skeleton. It was construction, and it was showing the process, which was actually cool, knowing that I'm here today to talk about we are in full swing. It has been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years. And we have, it has been a journey, but we had no idea where this would take us. The initial thought was for students, again, the selfish need was to get some transferable skills for students, not only in that area of office type tasks, but then also to push them into more clerical skills. Students are learning how to use a cash register, stocking items, taking inventory. But really what it did is it became a new culture for our building. It has not only taught those skills to our students, but it has allowed our teachers, our staff, our students to really come in and be a part of another part of our building and learn about other students that are also in that building. So here we are in full operation. You can see a student running a cash register, a student stocking drinks, and then over in the cubicles, that is where we have our school supplies. And we also sell some clothware. It's also a place that students come with permission from their teachers, or if they have a few extra minutes from the academy, they come from Emerald Campus, it gives them a quiet place to come, have conversation, a coffee, or even catch up on their studies. The big part I love is we have a large peer program where students, it's built in their day that they're coming in, they're supporting students, they're role models, they're teaching students how to provide these job skills for students and carry out these skills. So when this grant was written, the big part that was really important to me was we think about as, not only are students gaining those skills, but there were small amounts of profits that were coming in. And it was really important to me as we continued to talk to the committee at Coffman as to how these were going to be used. Number one, going back to students. And so in going back to students, we have a student support program for good behavior, for positive behavior. We also have a give back for staff, supporting staff and giving them coupons to come in and get free coffee and free product. And then the third part, as these grants came in from the community, I wanted to give back to the community. And so one big project that we do is we do take some of our product at the end of the year and we take it to the food pantry. And that has been something we have done every year. So we would love for you to come and visit, as a thank you, to come and visit the Rock Shop. So if you would like to scan the QR code and sign up for a date, we would love that. If a date does not work for you, I'm happy to provide you with another time to come in. Are there questions?
Yeah.
I'm going to come from, I feel like I'm behind a barrier.
Is this also an aspect as in each of the other schools?
Good question. So after Coffman, we started this shop. It is now in all 3 high schools. And the great thing about it is it looks differently in each high school. We were blessed to have a room. The other 2 high schools, it's off of their cafeteria. Let's see, Jerome is the Knot, and Scioto is the Kindness Cafe. to tell you too, I was at a conference on Monday, and I've learned that Olentangy High Schools have a new cafe in theirs, in their buildings, and then Hilliard as well. Yes?
How many students are participating in the workshop, in the learning process? And do you have any tracking on what happens after they graduate? Are they able to get jobs?
Sure, good question. So we have a job coach, and then the job coach has 3 to 4 students each period, and we have 7 periods. We rotate students each semester, so they could be in there for a duration of time, or it could be a short period of time because they have other graduation requirements to meet. We actually, yes, we do track student progress and what goes on after high school. This is the beginning stages to give every and any student an opportunity to give them some training. But I can tell you that I have been working with 2 Dublin moms, and they have opened their own coffee shop. So in preparation for the outcome, then there is another place for our students to go.
And where's that coffee shop?
It is a pop-up, and many of you probably know it. It's already in our community.
Is that called Clover Coffee?
Yes.
I heard of that, yeah.
Yes.
So how did you start with this idea? You already told us that, I apologize, but you have a connection with kids in your family who are different needs or anything, or just how did you come up?
How did we come up with the idea of the cafe?
Yes.
Well, I really think, you think about what attracts people. And then in my head was thinking, what are we missing here? Students going out in the community, using a cash register, waiting on customers. The Coffee Center is a quiet space. It is what I would consider behind the scenes. Students are really working with, office type tasks. And so I really wanted something that would help students stretch that social skills piece, that, using some communication skills. And so it then, like retail, is what I was thinking. And so we kind of scrunched together the school store piece, which is where the need really was. We also sell some clothware, and then what can we do to round that out? Well, most people love coffee. At the same time, I had been talking to a parent that knows the owner of Crimson Cup. And so I started a relationship with him, and in that relationship, that's how then it built, to kind of round out what would be, a full service cafe/school store. Any other?
Do you have any other financial needs upcoming?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. Well, as I said before, our give back is to students, staff, and then the community. We do have some furniture that one table and chairs might have been from my childhood, that we did a lot of upcycling with furniture. And so as it has been fully loved, it is also, falling apart. And so that is our next venture, is looking into replacing some of those pieces of furniture that are falling apart.
How do you control finances and theft?
Oh,
Do you have
good
a problem
question.
with theft?
No, we don't. We do not. We have a lot of eyes on, great coaching staff. And as far as our treasurer handles all the financial piece, we run our tape on the cash register at the end of the day, and then another great skill for students to learn in counting the money, the cash that came in. I'm amazed at the students that have some form of plastic. But again, yet another skill to learn. And then that goes right to our treasurer.
Do you pay them?
We pay them once a week and a snack. And you know what, better? A grade and a credit. That's the better part. Did you have a question?
Yeah, just a little personal story. So I have a niece who has Downs, and they live in Grandview, my brother and his wife and Kelsey, my niece. And she has had various little jobs, and she does her thing, and she's 37 years old. So she had a job at a coffee shop called Kickstart Coffee, which I think was in the Short North, or that Grandview Short North area. She loved that job so much. She loved that job, Kickstart Coffee. And then they specifically hired some special needs kids to work in that coffee shop because the owners had a connection in their family with a special needs child. So it was just a great job. And then they closed because they just weren't doing enough business. So Kelsey will still say, she says, I got fired from my coffee shop job. We're like, no, Kelsey, you didn't get fired. And we keep reiterating that to her. And she's like, no, I got fired. I'm like, no, they just did not sell enough coffee. That's why you're not working there anymore. So it was just a great thing for her. Yeah.
So word on the street is there is a franchise coming into town, into Upper Arlington. So she might want to look into that. I can tell you afterward the name of that place, if that's a place of interest for her. They're coming from the south.
Yeah, is there any relationship with the local grocery chains? Like you go to Bridge Street Kroger, you see a lot of special needs kids working there, and so at Meyer or in Sawmill. I mean, is there a relationship between all the schools and those grocery chains?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So those kiddos, if they are from Dublin, they receive their training probably in the copy center.
Okay.
And then we also have, as part of the program, as I had in my list of items, students, then the next step would be to go out into the community in non-paid internships. And we have internships all over the community. The community's been very gracious to us. We have, for a grocery, we do a Fresh Time. Kroger and Giant Eagle, because of the union, we're not able to do the volunteer. But we have the library, we have Ohio Wildlife Center. There's a multitude of places, Petland, so for them to really get out and explore careers and those transferable skills.
I thank you for taking cash and for teaching these kids to make change.
Cash is not gone.
You brought a couple things here.
Oh,
Tell us about
okay.
Do you want me to hold them while you talk about it?
So thank you, Ingrid. She was having a conversation with someone and talked about some of the projects that Rotary had done. And one of the things she had talked about is you really need to talk, to one of our school projects. So in the Dublin Life magazine, we were interviewed. It talks about the startup of the coffee shops. The Scioto Kristen Yearling, transition coordinator, was also interviewed, and Kelly Marshall. And so that article was in the Dublin Life, and so we had it printed and put it on a plaque. The other thing was we really wanted to make sure that as students and staff and community came into the rock shop, they knew how it all started. And how it all started by using a plaque. And so you'll see on the plaque, that will be hanging in the rock shop. Can you come closer? Tell her to come closer.
Thank you.
Erin, thank you so much for everything you've done for our students. We're at the point of the meeting where we normally adjourn, but we have saved a special treat for you. So, John, Susan, member-to-member spotlight.
Thanks.
Go ahead, you can start.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ladies first.
So when I signed up for Member Spotlight, I chose someone who I really didn't know, like hardly at all, like say hello to, but So we sat down and we talked for a little bit, and it was very interesting to find out all of his history. So John was born in Sydney, Ohio, and he moved to Long Island at 18 months of age. His father was a Lutheran minister and a teacher. John returned to Ohio to attend Wittenberg for his bachelor's, his master's at University of Dayton, and his doctorate at Capella. John and his wife, Susan, great name, married for 28 years. They've owned 6 homes in the last 28 years. So he's moved around a lot. John's completed 4, so these are the 3 truths and a lie. The first one is that they've owned 6 homes in 28 years. John has completed 4 Ironman triathlons. His high school project, which was a science project, went up on the Columbia Space Shuttle in 1989, spring of his senior year. And John has been a school superintendent for 28 years. So what do you think is the...
Number 4 is false.
No,
Nope.
no,
Nope. Yeah, haven't done triathlon. Marathons, yes. Triathlons, no.
Well, I thought you were gonna say you've only got 3.
No. So I put my name on the list first, and then Susan came and said...
tagged him.
So Susan was born in Portsmouth, graduate of UA High School and Ohio State University. She worked at Lazarus prior to staying home as a mom. And then when she went back to work, she worked as a financial advisor, which she is still doing.
Correct.
Her 3 truths and a lie. She's been married for 49 years. She's done over 150 dives in Turks and Caicos. She's been a member of Rotary for 25 years. And she has 3 grandchildren.
Number 4 is correct.
The dives.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
They're all true.
I have been a member for 23 years.
Thanks, Steve.
Next week, we have a presentation from Liz Ford, who is with the Public Consulting Group, and she'll share her work on efforts to increase the number of home healthcare workers in Ohio. Our closing quote comes from Albert Schweitzer. "The purpose of human life is to serve and to show compassion and the will to help others." Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Good job, man, you nailed it, like, right on. Money.
Yeah, no, you're part of it.
No, yeah, you're all in.